Welcome back. So today I want to talk about something that is very, very important and something that is going to always catch you out if you don't start becoming a bit more logical, a bit more advanced in your research and your understanding. So when we look at Axiom, okay, we've got a lot going on in this interface, right? You're seeing a lot of coins, you're seeing a lot of indicators, metrics, and so on. Now, I want you to start becoming even better at spotting rugs and scams and just in general, keeping yourself as safe as possible, reducing the risk. Because ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of the devs out here, I would say 99% nowadays, are trying to get you, okay? Not all the coins are good. Most of these coins are literally designed to extract money from you, so you need to be careful. And in today's video, I want to go over this very important factor. So I found this one coin, okay? Don't really know much about it, but I just want to kind of go into the indicators and metrics and show you how all of this can actually be manipulated. Just because Axiom gives you this token info and it seems like they filtered it out, they've made it, perfect for you to invest. Ladies and gentlemen, all of this that you see in front of you, just because it's green, just because it looks healthy, can be manipulated. Now, this is a token that has already gone down. Okay, but that is not the point of this video. The point of this video is this side. Of course, when tokens, when they go down, the devs are out, insiders are out, bundlers are out, everybody's out, snipers are out, so it automatically becomes green and so on. But imagine if you were to find a token, right, the perfect token, and all of this was super healthy, which nowadays is very difficult to find, okay, because there's always that one thing that, the devs are messing up on. And also nowadays, a lot of the traders are just willing to go into coins and tokens knowing that, one or two of these metrics are not great. But it is what it is, okay? Because we got to make money in the trenches, and we got to take opportunity of anything that, is at least close to being healthy. So looking at this, it looks very good, looks very green. The typical trader out there is looking at it and like, okay, I'm going to go in. Now, that type of trader would be a rookie trader, a trader that doesn't really know much and depends too much on this. If it was that easy, everybody would be making money. But all of it can be manipulated. How is it manipulated? Well, ladies and gentlemen, for example, top 10 holders. First of all, the dev can split the tokens across many wallets. Okay, so it looks like the distribution is healthy. But in fact, it's just one person controlling multiple wallets. Because ultimately, they have their systems to try and catch the relationships, the correlations, the timing, the amounts in order to build up the analysis and be able to put out a metric. But you can go around this. The bots, the algorithms, the systems, they're all becoming more and more advanced. And the dev creators, or let me just say the devs themselves, they are working on new systems every time. Just like, when Axiom and all these terminals are trying to catch up with all these other new ways that are coming out to pretty much, cover up the real, intentions behind the coin. Because, if you see top 10 holders as 100%, guys, it's going to rug on you like no tomorrow. So the devs are trying to bring out more sophisticated systems to cover that up. And the terminals out there are trying to catch up to it and introduce new systems to try and keep their users as safe as possible. But unfortunately, the devs and those with bad intentions, they're always just one step or two steps ahead of these terminals. Okay, so if there's anything out there right now, there's probably many things out there. Axiom probably is still trying to work on it and see how they can implement it into their system. So there you have it, okay? Top 10 holders can be manipulated. Then the dev holdings, okay? If you see very high number, obviously it's very bad, but also keeping it at 0% or very low green is very possible. And how can it be manipulated? Well, very simple. The dev sends tokens to fresh wallets, hidden supply under random addresses, and uses friends or second wallets. Right? So it can look like, the dev only owns maybe like 2%, 1%, but actually controls perhaps 30 or 40%. So this type of stuff can be manipulated. Of course, if you're a very good researcher and you have the tools, you can find the stuff because everything's on chain. But lots of people are very lazy. Also, you know, they're under a lot of stress of timing, so they're not going to be out there doing all this research to find out if every single metric is great, because by the time they figure that out, ladies and gentlemen, it could be too late. Okay. Now, another thing is the sniper holdings, okay? So how is it manipulated? Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've got, let me make it very clear to you, Dev pretty much just using the Dev wallets, okay? The sniper wallets themselves, on top of buying early with multiple wallets, and make it look like smart money entered. So I would say, you know, snipers, insiders, bundlers, very similar. There's a lot of similarities out there. Now, in terms of insiders, how can it be manipulated? Well, the dev shares the contract privately before launch. Friends buy early and looks organic on chart, but it was coordinated. Okay, so different ways around it. It's so easy to cheat the system. Now, you've got bundlers as well, right? So how's that manipulated? Well, the dev bundles multiple buys in same block, makes it look like many buyers entered at once, and creates that fake momentum. So it's pretty much a false launch hype. And bundling, clustering is very common. I mean, any dev knows about this. They all have multiple wallets. The only thing is that you don't want to be in a situation where they genuinely hold so much and they've got such bad intentions that they're going to genuinely drop on you straight away. Perhaps they will start selling out slowly and so on, but at least, you know, they give some traders some time, so that would be nice. So be careful with this one. Very easy to cover up. Now, liquidity burnt. Well, the dev burns liquidity pool but holds massive token supply. Liquidity locked, but supply is still centralized, and dev can still dump the tokens and crash the price. It's true. I mean, if they hold a bunch of tokens, what's the liquidity pool going to do? Nothing. So it's not like they need to pull out the liquidity. They just sell their tokens and it's done. So, I mean, look, overall, most metrics can be manipulated. Remember, the wallets are anonymous. One person can control many addresses. Bots make activity look organic. And at the end of the day, you know, the best devs out there, the really, really good ones, they have such great systems and bots that you would never be able to really understand or tell. The only times, you know, where it looks fine for you to get in is when, you know, the devs are pretty much lazy. Not to get in, but where you can actually catch them out is when the devs are lazy. And many devs are actually quite lazy, and they would just, you know, pretty much rug you for like 10 or 20 bucks. But the really, really good ones, the ones that create these massive coins out there, guys, it's very difficult to catch them out. They plan it out, you know, a long time before they launch. I'm gonna make another video just talking about this, the differences between the different devs. But look, everything can be changed here. Everything can be manipulated. So you need to be very good at also manually just looking at these different things here. One of the things that really can't be manipulated that much is like the global fees paid. Okay, but again, I'm gonna talk about another way that people can kind of do it, so another video. But either way, do join my groups, do subscribe, like, share. I'm gonna give you so many tips. You are going to really take your level up there to that 1% of traders. You are going to be the best of the best. Make sure that you sign up with my Axiom link. Would be really nice, just to get the, you know, the 10% cash back. Helps me out as well. Really nice. You know, I would appreciate it a lot. That kind of supports my content. And yeah, guys, on this note, really do be careful, because I said every time the trenches are becoming more and more complicated, there's so much more going on, and it's not going to become like that much easier. It just complicates everything. But if you have the knowledge, you're always going to be like at the top, because this world, or you know, this market is PvP. So your knowledge beats other people's knowledge just because you have more of it. So thank you so much. Appreciate all the support, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace out.